We're in sort of preparing for Christmas mode at the moment, which might come as a surprise when you sort of look around and think, well, hang on a minute, where are all the Christmas decorations? Yeah, I don't know. We're probably not going to be here for much of actual Christmas, so it seems silly to put a tree up and then just come back to a dead tree. Oh, it's just bar humbug round here, isn't it? That's not true. We're going to have a really lovely Christmassy Christmas. You wait. So we've got the presents, oh, actually, good point. Probably shouldn't put that in the vlog. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go for a quick run. I thought I'd talk a little bit about off-roading. Yeah, because that whole sort of electric skateboard off-road, well, you know, all-terrain wheels versus rough stuff wheels and things like that sort of got me thinking a little bit. And also I watched a video that Bjorn did where he was taking his Model X off-road and, you know, it went okay. Anyone would think that Model X wasn't really designed for true off-roading capability, but, you know, it wasn't. But it did do a reasonably good job. Firstly, the Model X has got huge amounts of power, but also, if you remember from a few days ago when I had my Model S in sort of quite snowy conditions, and I've said this, you know, all along, that traction control, the fine-grained ability to modulate the amount of power that goes to the wheels is extremely handy for things like off-road capability. But that doesn't change the fact that Model X is, you know, not really an off-road vehicle. It's, to my eye anyway, it doesn't look like it's got enough ground clearance. Luckily it does have the advantage of, because it's electric and because of the way it's designed, there isn't a lot of stuff underneath that's going to get damaged if it sort of was to hit the odd rock. You know, it's all kind of basically just flat battery pack under there. So that's an advantage, because you wouldn't want to be sort of, you know, get stuck and you catch your exhaust system and tear that off. You know, there's lots of complicated bits to go wrong with an internal combustion engine. I do like the wheels on the Evolve board. And I suppose similarly to what I was saying about Model X not being properly designed for off-road, but that board's not properly designed for off-road either. Yeah, even with the proper inflated all-terrain wheels, the problem with winter is it's damp. So even with the all-terrain wheels, if I take it on sort of muddy grass, what will basically happen is the board will get coated in mud, my feet will get coated in mud, and the end result is it'll take a huge amount of time to clean in order to... Don't know what happened there. I was just talking and suddenly the camera stopped recording. Maybe an SD card error. Anyway, I'm going to put it on charge while I run. I'm running a little bit on the late side. Oh God, I hate saying that. Basically today, my editing is way behind, and the reason for that is because of the Fusion. It's a great camera, but sometimes you have to be a little bit, what's the word? You have to be disciplined with how you use it and when you use it and for how long. Because it takes a very long time to render it. Especially with my MacBook Pro, which, let's face it, is probably not the right computer to do heavy lifting rendering. It is the only one I've got, and it's not in my budget to get another one. You know, it's more important I just have a computer that will do the job, and I do. It's just that it does it slowly. You're probably thinking, what's this got to do with Model X? And Model S for that matter. Well, I'll tell you. It's all about using things for what they were designed for. Speaking of using things for what they were designed for, I had a little bit of a skid. Basically, the rear wheels lost traction as I was coming out of my house. It's uphill, 4 degrees outside, so it's fairly cold. And, you know, there was a gap in traffic and I'm running a little late, so I wanted to sort of get going nice and quickly, shall we say. And at around 40 miles an hour, the back end of the car went whoosh and sort of slid out to the side a bit. Well, you know, not a huge amount, maybe like 6 inches worth of movement. The car caught the slide like instantly with the traction control, you know, and off I went on my merry way. But that's what happens when you use summer tyres in 4-degree temperature with sort of not particularly dry, slightly salty roads. The point I was trying to make is, you know, you have to be kind of mindful of the reduction in traction when you have summer tyres, because they're not designed for winter. Similarly, believe it or not, the Model X is not designed for off-road. I genuinely do not believe that that was very high up the list of capabilities. They want it to be able to do it in an emergency, and Bjorn proved that. Recent video that he did where he did damage his Model X, but he took it, you know, fairly serious off-roading in the snow and mud. Actually is fine. I would expect it to perform fairly well, but not as well as something like a proper Land Rover, because they are designed for off-road. Like, they're actually properly designed for it. And equally, Model S, not going to do as well on a track as an actual car that's designed for the track, even if it rarely gets used on a track. Something like a 911 is, you know, I wouldn't call it, it's not a purpose designed track car, of course, but that is what they have tried to dial into its pedigree, the sort of ability to get round a track at a decent speed. What Teslas are extremely good at, and is definitely in their DNA, is that 0 to 60, 0 to 100 sprint where they just destroy every other vehicle out there. Now, all these things basically have a similarity. Off-road, tracks, drag strips, they are all basically very much fringe uses. Most people that own a 4x4 never take it anywhere near its capabilities off-road. Most people who own a high-powered sports car or hypercar never take it anywhere near a track. Most people who own a Tesla don't take it to a drag strip and do quarter miles over and over again. It can do these things, all these vehicles can do these things, but it's, you know, it's not their primary purpose. What it is it's essentially their USP, their reason to sort of get people to buy the car and then not use the feature. And in that respect, I think Tesla's actually got it right, because out of all these things, that high-speed acceleration is one of the most useful, actually, on a road environment features. You know, I pulled out of my house, there was a gap to move into, and I did have to accelerate fairly smartly, and guess what? The car did it without any complaints whatsoever, and with me having no fear of it not being able to perform when I asked it to, which is something that always worries me about petrol and diesel engines. Actually, when I ask something of them, they're not going to be able to sort of meet the grade, whether it's going to get its gears muddled up, or it's going to change down at the wrong time if it's an automatic, or I don't know. It's just or the traction's going to give out and the traction control won't be able to keep up, and then the imbalance in weight could cause the thing to spin, because, you know, that's what happens when you have a great big lump of metal in one end and, you know, a petrol tank somewhere in the back. You know, the weight is, it's okay, but, you know, it's not the near perfect 50-50 split you get with an electric vehicle. That's how I see the car landscape, and that's why I don't get concerned by the fact that Model X is not an out-and-out off-road vehicle. You know, or that Teslas are not known for being able to get round a track ridiculously quickly. I don't take it round a track. You know, what I do is have to get off the lights sometimes, and you know how it is. You queue up at the lights, there's 3 or 4 lanes, you know you're in the wrong lane. You are. You don't know how you got into the wrong lane, but it probably had something to do with the highly confusing markings all over the place. We get junctions like that in the UK everywhere, and it is extremely helpful to know with absolute certainty that when the lights change, you will be in the middle of the junction while everyone else is still back at the stop line. And now I'm going to go grab Jasper. See you back home. Yes, you were good, Jasper. He was a little overexcited, which is kind of understandable with the lead up to Christmas and the fact that they had a Christmas party at school today. But other than that, he was very good. You didn't what?
I didn't pull my shorts up.
Oh right, good, because I think it looks a bit silly when you pull your shorts up too much. Very strange child. Still not finished. But it is almost done, so yeah, I guess I'll just wait the half an hour it takes to finish this. So, you know what, the videos from a couple of days ago, this is the reason why they went up late. Right, I'll just finish off what I was saying then about things being used for what they were designed for. The reason why you've got these, you know, these things that people don't really use the car for, whether it's, you know, quarter miles or going around corners ridiculously fast or driving off-road up a mountain, you know, these activities are used to pull customers in. That's the reason why when I was at Goodwood Festival of Speed at the Land Rover stand, they had this entire off-road course with like 45-degree inclines up metal ramps and, you know, all sort of designed to showcase what this amazing vehicle can do off-road. The irony being that 99% of the people that buy one will never take it off-road. But it doesn't matter, because that's still something that they look at and go, oh yeah, I've bought this car, it's fantastic off-road. Which is exactly the same as, you know, Tesla owners. The difference, I suppose, being that it is slightly easier to incorporate a 0 to 60 in a few seconds into part of your day, you know, when it's safe to do so and fills a need. Like, for example, you want to get ahead of everybody else and move lanes at a junction. I am going to say goodbye for the day, I think. Yeah, that's right, because I've got loads and loads to do, not the least of which is sort out my YouTubing and then sort out the house and then write some Christmas cards with Jasper. That's going to be fun. So I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I will see you tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. Bye. Okay. You can't, Monkey, it's got the child locks on it. Come on, let's get you in. I put the child locks on because you're a child.